10% of the way on the journey, that there's an awful lot more to do, and that what we're seeing is that the world is changing in an even more faster pace, and those issues are around kind of much more extreme weather patterns, the fact that everywhere I go in the world people talk about it's really difficult to attract labour to want to work in the food supply chain. So we can see these changes. So it's about how do we become much more reactive and able to adapt to change, and what does that look like in terms of building that resilience into the supply chain.
And one of the challenges that I'm hearing from Ian and Louise is that you've got supply chains where frequently your relationship is very much a purchase and supply. So this particular project really is an opportunity to scale up the application of efficient cook stoves. You create resilient communities that then provide labour, that might be providing or supplying directly into your supply chain, but it's a wider brief. And then again, the other issue that's come up in everything that everyone said is how do you measure the outcome, the social impact. And particularly with the cook stoves, it's primarily there about health within the homes where smoke inhalation has been an issue, and also the time that children and women are spending on collecting wood for the daily meal or the daily cooking being dramatically reduced. So these are benefits that you can then measure and feedback. And hopefully also make this offsetting activity more meaningful to customers that then sort of understand that this is a form of finance that generates a range of resilience benefits.
What's great about that? More kids go to school. That means a more educated workforce for the future. And for those mums, it means they're not off work. Yep. They're at work because they've not got the health problems, so less absenteeism, greater productivity. It's a win-win.
So now the discussion has become with that single farmer, not PepsiCo's requirements, but the collective effort. And whether it's Walmart or Marks and Spencer's or Unilever, it doesn't matter. It says that when you look at the collective sourcing, you can build this resilience. So I think, and with that, we can start to touch those macro, the farm capability, which take us into the future, and the localised, which are critical priority areas that you need to address, whichever crop or wherever geography. They will be different.
What I'm trying to describe in the case of Kenya is how you need a more holistic approach, which says actually we need to be running several simultaneous projects in this particular locality if we're to address water stewardship, if we're to address good agricultural practice, if we're to address driving a more resilient community. And actually that's about finding the right partners to join in a collaborative project. And in some cases it would be about finding the right partners, like working with Jonathan, or it might be finding the right partners about working with Pepsi. So I think what we're saying is this is not about a Marks and Spencer solution, it's about working collaboratively with others to transform and take things to scale.
Some work that we did with Marks and Spencer's and their partnership, given partnerships are key to this, with UNICEF, looking of course to protect children. But in this particular instance, Bangladesh is on the apparel supply chain for M&S, and it is a country that I'm sure everybody here realizes is stressed and increasingly stressed by climate change. More than 80% of people in Bangladesh rely on firewood for cooking and use generally very inefficient stoves. So this was a project that involved UNICEF, GIZ, which is German development aid organizations, and ourselves to take fuel-efficient cook stoves into one or two regions. You used the word pilot, but there's a real sense of scaling up and the opportunity to scale up literally to millions of people through this project.
The market restructuring that could take place in the last 10 years, we all look for this visibility, and the consumer gets more interested is where is my food coming from. I think that's the hidden piece of sustainability of getting visibility actually back to the farm base, because people are interested, and therefore the Cargills and the ADMs and the rest of them today, and there's, will have to respond to some of that.
The language is shifting to risk, and it's a language that business really understands, knows how to calibrate, knows how to respond. So climate change, for an example, or biodiversity loss doesn't have the same impact as the risk of disrupting a supply chain, a food supply chain, or a whole community's ability to earn a living. So I think that's, that has changed dramatically and got many, many more corporates involved in a very positive way.
Right. I would just say it's to be welcomed, isn't it? The more businesses that engage and go with us on the journey, the better it is that we'll be able to make transformation.